Hey everybody, Richie Castellano here. Today I'm going to take you through how I build a scene in 3D animation. Now, I've been working on a movie project for the past several years. It's going to be a sci-fi musical and I'm making some great progress. And today I want to just show you how I build a scene from beginning to end. Now, I'm not going to show you anything from the movie because I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm going to do a new scene from scratch and kind of show you the soup to nuts process. And the tools I'm using today are from Reallusion, which is an awesome company, and they have a product called Character Creator. They're up to Character Creator version 4, which has some great updates in it. And I use that to obviously create all of my characters. And then they have something called iClone, which they're currently on version 8, which just came out. And iClone is what I use to build all the scenes and animate all the characters and put all the fun stuff in there. So I'm going to show you how I use these. And the cool thing is iClone 8 actually has a few new features that have sped up the process dramatically. I'll give you an example. From January, it took me almost 3 months to make a minute of the movie. And then once this new version came out, I sped through like the next 3 minutes in a month. So it was pretty impressive how fast this new product is making things for me. So I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to use some other things too. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. So instead of showing you a scene from the movie, which I don't want to do yet, I wrote a new scene, a very simple scene, but there are actually some complicated things in here. So I'm going to read it. Nighttime. A man waits by a storefront on a busy street, looking through the window under a street lamp. As he looks, he notices a woman walk up behind him in the window's reflection. Man, hey, you made it. The woman smiles, they kiss. Okay, so it's a simple scene, but there are a few tricky things in here that we're going to have to figure out. One is it says that he's under a street lamp, so we're going to have to get that effect that he's under a street lamp, so we got to figure that out. The other thing is it's a busy street, so maybe that means there's people walking back and forth. I'm not sure. I was kind of vague about it on purpose. Then he sees the woman in the reflection of the window, so we got to figure that out. Then the man speaks, hey, you made it. We have to make that happen. The woman smiles, they kiss. Now, they kiss is simple, but it's not simple because when you have two animated characters interacting with each other or touching each other, what usually happens is they go through each other. So we have to make it so they actually can touch each other and don't collide meshes. So it's kind of tricky, but I kept it simple. And the goal today is to do this as quickly as possible. That means I'm not going to do this a long way. I'm going to take as many shortcuts as I can, and that means using motion capture instead of manually animating everything. Now, there are some great motion capture resources online. One of them is called Actor Core, where you can get an array of different motions and movements, and the other one is Mixamo, which I'm going to be using some of that today. And I'm also going to record my own motion capture, and that's going to be the first step. I have a very kind of simple motion capture setup in my basement, and that is using a VR system, the gaming system, and I'm using something called Glycon 3D. And we're going to capture that first. So let's get started. Okay, now I'm in Glycon 3D. I have my full VR stuff on, and I'm going to record the guy part first. Looking at the window. I'll give myself a lot of time to do this. And then he notices the reflection. Hey, you made it. All right, so now I'm going to do the girl's part. I know this is ridiculous. Now we're in Reallusion Character Creator 4, and we're going to create some characters. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. This isn't a tutorial or anything. So I'm going to go down to Actor here, and we have these ready-made characters, Character Creator 4, Kevin and Camila, so I guess we'll use those. I'll make Kevin first. Okay, so there's Kevin in all his glory. So we can change Kevin a little bit with these modify attribute sliders here. Let's go to his face. Give him a bigger nose. Maybe make it, give him a bit of a schnoz. It's cool. Change his forehead a little bit. Give him a little more of a jaw. Yeah. Bring his chin out a little. Yeah, that looks cool. I like that. Something I like to do is make these guys look a little cartoony, because sometimes I get creeped out when they're too real looking, like this dude. I have the cartoon pack. I'll just give it a slight exaggeration here. Maybe that's too much. All right, that's cool. I think Kevin is intimidatingly in shape, so let's let's make him a little less so. There we go. All right. Let's round him out a little bit. And I'll do the same thing to his face. Yeah. Let's give him some hair. Now, I have a lot of hair that I bought, so you might not have some of this stuff, and that's okay. I'll give him this hair. Yeah, that looks nice. Maybe we can give him blonde hair. So to do that, I'm going to go here to the Materials tab, go to Strand Color, and right now you see that it's this brown color, so I can probably change that. So he's got a highlight there. And I'll change this base color to something a little more yellowy. Yeah. Now we got to put some clothes on this guy. Presumably this guy is going on a date, so we got to dress him up a little. Here we go. A layered sweater. That might look nice. Yeah. That's cool. Let's stick with that. And pants. Yeah, a little respectable gentleman he looks like. We could also change the color of any of this stuff if we want, but I'm going pretty quickly here. Then we'll do shoes. Now, if I wanted to buy specific shoes, I can go to the Reallusion marketplace. There we go. Where are those? Yeah, this guy looks styling. And I could buy, there's tons of shoes on there that you could buy. All right, I like this outfit for him. I think he looks pretty good. Now, we'll use this default character here, Camila. All right, Camila looks pretty good. Let's say we want to give Camila darker skin. So to do that, we can go here, make sure we're on her skin, and we can go down to the skin color tab, activate it, color adjustment, activate, and now I can basically play around with the skin color a little bit. And there you go. I did this to Kevin, so I'm doing it to Camila too. Let's go to the full body here. Let's give her a little more mass. There we go. Let's give her bigger ears. And we'll make her ears angle out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. We'll give her slightly bigger nostrils. This looks nice. Yeah, that's cool. I might change her hair color, make it something funky. I'm sticking with that. That looks really awesome. Okay, let's put some clothes on her. There we go. That's a interesting outfit, but that's what she's wearing. We're in iClone 8 now. So the next step I would usually do is build my set. I can build it in here with some basic building blocks or some stuff that I purchased from the Reallusion content store or the marketplace, or even stuff that I make in Blender sometimes. But now I'm going to do this quick, and I want to use something sort of pre-made. So there's a set that comes with this that is pretty cool. Let's load this plaza, see what that looks like. All right. Well, this looks like a really great place for a date. The only problem is our date is supposed to be happening at night. So we have to make it night. And right now it is clearly daytime. Wow, that looks really good, actually. So if we go into the scene, wow, this added a lot of stuff. That's all good. One of the things that it probably added is a sky. Okay? And if we look on the sky texture, we have this. We can change that. So we can do this. There we go. That's better. That's nice. So we still have this kind of sun lens flare thing. So I'm going to just get rid of this. And now I have to change the lighting to reflect this, but I'm not going to do that just yet. First, I'm going to sort of pick where I want this to take place. Let's say he's looking over here. Yeah. He's looking in the shoe store. I like that. We'll bring Kevin over here, just dragging him in. And I'll position him where I want him to be, standing at the beginning of the scene. Okay, so there's a problem here. It's that it's reflecting, but it's reflecting the image-based lighting, which is not part of this scene. So it's reflecting something that isn't here. Now, what do I mean by image-based lighting? So if we go to the Visual tab, it's reflecting this picture. So as soon as I turn that off, you're not going to see it reflecting that picture anymore. We want it to actually reflect what's here. And because if you notice, Kevin's standing right in front of that window, and it's not reflecting. So that kind of poses a problem for us, but it's not a huge problem. There's a workaround that we're going to use in a bit. But first, let's get the animation happening. So I'm just going to drag this file right onto him. All right. I'm going to press play and see what happens here. Okay, so that's the animation that I recorded. All right, there's our animation. There's a few problems. If you see when it goes from the regular T pose, there's this bit of a slouch here. So I have to do a bit of pose correction. One of the features that I really like about this current version is you have non-destructive animation. So if I hit F11 here, it opens up this animation layer. That means I can do this corrective stuff without really changing my base animation. So I'm going to open up a new layer here. I'm just going to call this posture. And this is how I'm going to fix his posture. So right there we have this little slouch. Let's get rid of that slouch. Edit motion layer. And I'm going to just basically raise his hips. There we go. I'm going to make sure foot contact is on. And I do that so when I push him down, his feet stay in the right place. And I like that a lot better. Now, if for any reason I decide this doesn't work for me and I want to go back to the way it was, I can totally go back to the animation layer here and turn that off. And then he goes back to slouching. I can always go back a few steps. His feet are kind of they're moving a little too much. And I don't really like the way it looks. And this one's not even on the ground. And I will push this other foot down a little. There we go. That looks better. Problem number 2. In the mocap, I'm supposed to have my hands in my pockets. Kind of hard to do with motion capture, but there's a feature in here that I'm going to use quite a bit called reach target. And that's going to make it so his hands actually go into his pockets. So right there, we'll start it. Okay. I'm going to do reach target. And I'm going to start with his right hand. And I'm going to do select target, but keep current pose. So the target I'm going to select here is going to be his thigh. Great. And now I can actually move this in place. So we can't actually put his hands in his pockets. We can make him look like his hands are in his pockets. I'm going to call that good for now. Because from here, you can't really tell. And I'll repeat the process for the other hand. Yeah, I like that. That looks cool. So now when I press play, his hands are going to stay there, which I'm totally cool with. Now he notices her. At that point, I'm going to go back to reach, and I'm going to release the two hands. Release, release. Because at that point, he takes his hands out of his pocket. Yeah, that's cool. Let's bring Camila in. And I'll put her here for now. And I want her to start kind of further back. So I'll move her back here, maybe even further. I want her to face this way because she's going to come in from off screen. Now, there's a few things I could do here. I only recorded mocap for when she gets up to Kevin, but I wanted a more feminine walk than anything I could do. So we have a few options. We can use some of the stock stuff. We can go to Actor Core. I'm going to use Mixamo today. Okay, if you're not familiar with Mixamo, it's a free website from Adobe, and there's a lot of interesting and useful motion capture files on here that you could download for free. So let's do female catwalk, because I want to get something a little more exaggerated. Here we go. Catwalk, walk forward. Perfect. Let's trim this out. Let's overdrive this a little. Yeah, or just shimmy a little more. I'll make the arm space a little wider. Yeah, that looks really good, actually. I like that. All right, so now I'm going to download this. I'm going to go back to the beginning now. And now I'm going to drag on the animation we just downloaded right onto Camila. I'm going to change the motion profile to Mixamo default character. Hit that. Yep. Proceed. Fine. Let's see what it looks like. One thing is I would like it to be a little slower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to speed and drag this out a little. Let's make it 75%. Yeah, 75-15. That's great. Obviously, we don't want her to start walking yet, so I'll move this back a little bit in time. Because Kevin's still over there getting ready. So I'll zoom out here so you can see the timeline. All right. Now, the problem here is this animation stops. I need to start again. Now, this used to be a real pain in the older versions of this program, but now it's pretty easy. All I do is I hold down Control, drag this over to loop it, and then I just butt this up like that, and it should loop. Let's see. Yep. I'll duplicate this again. Okay, so I'm starting to see a little bit of a problem here. She's going to end up in the wrong place. But that's not that big of a deal. It's easy to fix. There are a few ways to fix it. I'll give her one more of these loops. Okay. Yeah, she just ends up in the wrong place. How do we fix this? The first thing we can do is we could see if going back to the beginning of this and just changing the angle slightly will fix that. Oh, maybe it will. Okay, we overshot it a little bit, so I'll just go change this angle back a little bit. This is the old way of doing it. Okay, that's pretty good. We have to get this timed with Kevin turning around. So I'm just going to take all four of these and push them back until we get it timed up with him. Maybe we might have to play with this a little more. Okay, now here's the tricky part. We have professionally done motion capture here for Camila, and it looks great. You know, she's moving perfectly. I think it looks like she has heels, so we might have to fix that. But we'll do that in a sec. Now we have to combine all this. One thing I might do is just combine this into one motion clip. I have to merge clips. Here we go. Good. So now that's one long clip because there's no reason for me to have them be 4 clips. At this point, I'm going to put my motion capture on here, and we're going to look how weird everything gets. All right, let's see what happens here. We have to fix this posture because that looks terrible. And I'll do a new layer here, and I'm going to add my posture layer, and let's pick her up a little. And again, this has the same problem. Maybe my floor isn't level or something, where we're not exactly on the floor. So let's put her on the floor. Good. Also, the hands are a little out just because that's me holding the controllers. So I might correct that a little. Let's see if that plays. You know what? I'm going to sink her down just ever so slightly because now her knees are locked out and it looks unnatural. So let's sink her down just a little. There we go. Slight bend in the knees. And if you notice, her arms are a little too locked out. So I'm going to unlock the arms just because I don't have elbow trackers. So that's going to happen. But no problem. I'm going to go to the motion layer here. Make a new one. I'll call this elbows. Okay, great. And now I'm going to put a slight bend, just like that. And I'll bring her shoulder back a little just to make this pose look a little more natural. Let's see how that plays. Good. That's great. All right. I'm going to flatten this. All right. So now when she starts the motion is about there, right? So I'm going to break this clip right there. And I'm going to see what happens if I butt these up. And it's probably going to be terrible. Okay. So we see a few problems here. First problem is she's walking and then all of a sudden, boom, she's turning. So maybe I'm going to cut into this a little later and see how that works better. All right, that is better. But now we're going to use some motion control. I'm going to align the clips. So we have motion direction control. So if I click on this one, it tells us the direction that this animation goes in, which is a straight line. And when I go here, it changes a little, okay? So we can do this, but then it's the wrong direction. So we need it to be this direction so they're both kissing. Okay, but even that isn't correct because we have this, they're too far from each other. So I'm going to move this clip to there. And this is also a new feature in iClone 8. And I'm going to move this clip so that it lines up. Okay, but we have this little weird feet shuffle thing. We have to align this on the left foot. Let's see if that works. It looks pretty good. Okay. We have to play with the timings, but it's okay. It's a little jumpy, but we could fix that by fading. So let me butt these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out a little. And that is much more natural looking. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to change the timing a bit because this happens a little too soon. Too soon. And there's a little bit of that jump there. So what I might do is move this clip a whoop. Nope. Just this clip a little later. Yeah, even that's a little too jumpy. There's too much of a slide there. So you really got to play with this. I like that. That's kind of cool. We almost got it. All right, so she has to move first. So this is going to go earlier. Okay, but now she is facing slightly the wrong way. So we have to move her like this. Almost there. That's better. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. Cool. So that's the motion direction control. Very handy. And another thing I wanted to point out is a lot of this is done automatically. Like if you notice before when I just dragged those Mixamo clips in, that was the computer just aligned them for me. Okay, so now we have this issue here of we have this kind of awkward looking thing. So we got to fix that. And that's actually not too bad anymore. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make her grab onto his neck. So let's find out when that happens exactly. So she goes. Let's do that right here. Maybe instead we'll have her just grab onto his shoulders. We could do the neck too, but let's try it. So this hand is going to go here. So let's move it. Okay, that's good for now. This hand is going to go here. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now she's locked to his shoulders. Okay, let's lock his hands to her waist. Reach target. So let's see what that looks like now. Good. So now all we have to do is keep their faces from smashing into each other. Okay, so one of them, I'm going to just basically pair one of them to one of them. So I'm going to make her face stick to his face. Very, very romantic. Right there. Okay. Reach target. Head. Heed. Right now, let's see what this looks like. So they're matching up, which is pretty good. All right, so now I got to go to him, and I have to fix his animation there, which is easy to do. I'll go to F11. I'll make a new layer here. I'll call this Kiss. All right, I want to move his whole body in a little bit, too. That looks pretty good. So now I got to go back to her reach. I have to fix the shoulders, too, because I moved him a little. So we'll go back to reach target. That looks nice. Ooh. Ooh. All right, we can fix that. Can maybe make her move her head a little less. Sorry. I know I'm supposed to be a professional here, but yeah. You know what you're getting when you come to this channel. I'm going to do something interesting here. I'm going to make his kiss pose a little less pronounced. And to do that, I'm going to go back to F11 here on him. I'm going to go to the kiss, and I'm going to change the weight of it just so it's not so much. So there you go. That looks better. Okay. Okay. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to her reach track here for the kiss, and I'm going to fade it in a little more, like this. Yeah, that's better. Maybe even go a little later here, a little earlier here. Yeah, I'll buy that. I could probably do it a little smoother, but I'm going to keep that for now. Here she comes. Yeah. Okay, his hands look a little too stiff here. So as soon as he pulls them out of his pocket, let's go to content, animation, gesture, and let's give him a relaxed hand. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Now he's got to grab her. Okay, so what looks kind of grabby? Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, sure. So now let's fix her hands. So her hands are really look fine up to here, And okay, she'll say, "I'm gonna kill you," but we don't want that. So let's give her a more natural. Let's do this slightly bent thing. Yeah. And then, does that look good? So now we'll do a grab, I guess. This might be too much. Let's take a look at that. Oh no, that looks nice. She does look like she's about to, knee him in the groin, but that's love. All right, it's coming along nicely, but now they have these like blank expressions, and I also need him to say something at some point. So, I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to record his dialogue, like, "Hey, you made it," and then I'll move his lips to that. So let's do that next. I just recorded my vocal here, my little file. And now I'm going to bring it in on the right moment. So let's see where he says it. So let's do it right before the kiss, right? And I'm going to go to animation, create script, Aculips. And I'm going to load the file. I'm going to hit generate text. Hey, you made it. So he's saying, "Ha hey." I do like a little "ha hey." So I'm going to say a "ha." "Ha hey, you made it." Right? I'll do a line again. Hey, you made it. That was pretty good. But I can change the boundaries of each word. Hey, you made it. Looks pretty good. All right, so now I'll apply that to Kevin. Let's see if he does it. Hey, you made it. Okay. Hey, hey. All right, he's kind of doing. We might have to tweak things a little bit. So first thing you could do is you can change the Vizime strength. Hey, you made it. Okay. Now we can actually go to this dialogue track down here. Let me move this a little earlier. Hey, you made it. Okay, that's pretty good. And what I'm going to do is I can actually go in here and I can tweak every individual mouth movement. Okay, there's also these presets we can play with a little bit, which I might do. Talking style editor. Let's do enunciating. I like that one. Hey, you made it. Okay. Or maybe bellowing. Let's try that. Hey, you made it. I like that much better. Okay. So now the only thing that's not selling this is the deadpan expression. So we got to fix that. All right. So the thing that's missing from here is clearly expression because he just says, "Hey, you made it." He doesn't look like he's very excited or anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a pass of some facial animation. I'm going to capture it with the Live Face app, which I'm recording right now on my iPhone here. I have it plugged into the computer, and Live Face uses the Motion Live plugin to capture my actual facial expressions and apply them to the character. All right, let's do one. Here we go. Hey, you made it. Let's see what it looks like. Hey, you made it. All right. Cool. Good. So that's this technique. I'm going to do a different technique for her. All right. So now we're going to do her facial expressions. So I'll click on her, and I'm not going to use the facial capture here because for her, we're going to do something a little more subtle, and her face is hardly on the camera anyway. So Now, I'm just going to use face key. And let's give her a happy expression. Not too happy. Yeah, that's good. Something subtle like that. So she's walking. And now we're going to give her like a little bit of like a devilish grin, if you will. Too much. Yeah, that's cool. It's going too quick. So let's go over here to expression. And I'm going to zoom way into this. And I'm going to basically make this fade in. There we go. Yeah. And now, right here, we have to make her go into the smooch pose. So let's see what we got. Pucker. Good. And now we also want her to close her eyes. So we can go to muscle. Bring her eyelids down. Right? And we can also bring her lower lids up a little. Good. Great. Okay. So that's her facial expression done. Okay. Now, are they still connecting? Oh, yeah, they are. That's good. Okay, good. This is supposed to be nighttime and does not look like nighttime. So let's figure out why that is. So if we go into the scene here, we have a few lights. I'm going to turn off all the lights first off. We have in the visual tab, we have image-based lighting. Let's get rid of that. Okay, already that looks much better. In the scene here, we have a couple lights. Let's get rid of that. Now we're completely in the dark. So the key light. Let's change the color of the key light. So right now it's this nice beige and you can see it reflected. But usually when we have a night thing, we want it to be bluish. There we go. Okay, the side light. Let's talk about that now. The side light looks okay. I might want to change that color a little bit. Yeah. So already this is reading as night now. Okay, but what I did say is that there's a lamp on him. So let's say that somehow in this awning is a lamp, right? Let's say it's under there. Okay. We don't have to show it, but it'll just be sort of understood that there's a lamp there. So let's create a spotlight. So let's make this like a yellow color. A pale yellow. Yeah, something like that. Give it some more strength. Yeah. Now we're cooking. Okay. We can really make it look like a spotlight by bringing the angle down, playing with the fall off a little bit. That looks cool. All right, I like that. Now, but to make it really read as a spotlight, we see the hair is lit up, but I want there to be a light ray, and this is where the new volumetric light feature comes in. It's awesome for this. So now I turn that on, and I could really play around with that, and now you can see that there is a light, right? And what we could even do is we could let me just make sure this is what I want. So we can really go heavy with that if we wanted. I'll put another one here just so you could see that it's almost like the storefront is lit up. Okay, so now we have this kind of look, which looks awesome. There's a few weird lighting things because we're only lit from the top, so I'm going to put another light probably over here. Cool. Hey, that's really nice. So the script calls for a reflection, and that's pretty tricky to do, especially in the older versions of iClone. But with iClone 8, they've added this cool thing called mirror props. And I actually just did a test of it to make sure it would work, and it works great. So I'm going to bring this mirror square into the scene right here. Okay? Let me turn it, make sure it's the right angle. And I'm going to position this in place on top of the wall there. Great. I'll make it bigger. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay, so now the whole storefront is a mirror. But that's no good because we actually want to be able to see through this like he's looking at stuff. So a couple issues with that. We could do that. So what we need to do is we're going to go down to opacity over here and bring opacity down. Now you can see this storefront a little bit, but really it's too faint. And that is not because the mirror is not letting it pass through. It's just that the mirror is sort of obscuring it. Now, also, this is way too shiny. No storefront would be that shiny. So what we'll do is we'll go over here to the reflection settings, and we'll bring that strength down. So now you're starting to get some of it back. The reason we can't see behind it too good is because there's no light on it. So I'm going to create another spotlight, and I'll put it presumably where that other light's supposed to be. Angle it at the window. Make it brighter. Oh, there we go. And we could play with the angle a little bit. Just make sure it's hitting what it has to hit. And just like that, now we can see what he's looking at in the storefront. That's much better. Back here, I'll duplicate this so we can see the other window as well. So now we can see a reflection in the window, and that is really slick. Before I start going crazy with the pedestrians and the extras and all that stuff, I think I want to create my shot and see what it's going to look like first. So let's create a camera. So now we're looking through the camera. Maybe the opening shot of this, and we'll edit a few shots together, will be him sort of just hanging out, waiting, like this. And then, you know what? It would make sense to have a few pedestrians back there. So we'll do that. You know what? I kind of want to get that yawn in a little better. I love that yawn. Okay, cool. So we got that. Let's have a few people walking. Also, this is starting to look a little too bright. So we might have to, we got to figure out which one of those lights is making it look like that. Yeah, so these might be doing too much. So let's go here and bring some of these spotlights down a little. Yeah, that looks better. Really, you can't tell what the stuff's going to look like until you look through the camera lens of the shot. I might also mess with these scene lights. They might be too bright. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to visual, and we're going to start adding some of this HDR effect. I might have to adjust. Oh, this fog. Oh, the fog color is wrong. Let's make the fog blue. All right, so that's looking a little nicer. Let's play with the lights a little more. And you really got to just keep playing with this until you get the result you want. Actually, that looks better without all the overhead lighting. These can just be off. So what I want to do now is I want to create another light, not necessarily an effect light, because the effect looks pretty good now. It's definitely reading as nighttime. I want to put just a regular film spotlight here so we can see what's going on. So I'll add another spotlight. All right, let's see what this looks like in the shot. That's blocking the shot. Another thing to make things look a little sexier is we can activate depth of field. Focus it on him. And then we can blur the background just a little, right? That looks cool. Now we're getting somewhere. And now we can go back to the visual and play with that a little bit. Yeah. All right, so there's the shot. The shot is kind of, there's not much happening here. The scene calls for a busy area. So we should at least have a couple people in the background walking. Now that used to be really a chore to do, but it's a lot easier now. So I'm going to go to the mini viewport here and keep this on just so I can keep referencing my shot. So right now I'm actually, if you see, here are my guys, right? This is where the shot's taking place. I want to have people walking in the background. So let me add an actor. Let me add Party Man. I'll put Party Man right over there. Turn him a little. Back him up a tad. Okay, let's remove his animation. So that's Party Man. I want Party Man to kind of walk into frame, right? So I could, bring in some motion capture and do it that way, but I think the way that I'd rather do it is to use the new motion director, which is incredible. All right, so I'm going to go over to the motion director controls, and let's see. I have Party Man over here, but if you could see, Party Man has no data on him. He's red. So I'm going to hit start, and it's going to ask me, do I want to make this guy male or female? I'll make him male. So now it's going to go through this whole process. It takes a little while. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to make him walk, all right? And I'm going to start this walk a little sooner. And I'm just going to control this with my mouse and keyboard just the way I would control a video game. And I can do this with an Xbox controller too, by the way. But I'm just going to hit the W key to make him go straight. And I'm going to watch over here on the mini viewport to see if when he goes into frame. So I'm going to hit start, and then I'm going to go. Oh, there he is. Hey, you made it. All right, so he's still walking. Great. Okay, so now hit stop. So I have these two clips here. Obviously, this one was a mistake, so I'll get rid of that. Delete. Now this one I'm going to save. Great. And now I'm going to create this clip. I'll move this a little sooner. I'll hit create clip. Good. So now if I go over here to Party Man, there's his walking clip. So, whoops. What did I just do? All right, Party Man. Let's go over to mini viewport and watch how this plays out in reference to the scene. Okay, so I have to maybe make this happen a little sooner. Cool. So that's one guy in the background. Let's give him a friend. So let's put Party Female here. We'll go into the motion director. Okay, we'll turn off Party Man. And we'll do the same thing for her. And we have to apply the female MD data. Cool. And now instead of animating her, I think what I'm just going to have her do is follow the guy. So I'll go over here to follow object, pick object. I'll pick Party Man. And let's see what happens. All right, cool. But maybe I wanted her to follow kind of on the side. So I think we can do an offset like this. Yeah. Let's look in the viewport. Oh, that looks cool. So now we have our two background actors for that first shot. And now I'm going to render this. So I'll render this out as is. Let's do 24 frames to get a nice... actually, this whole thing's going to be 30, so I'll keep it 30 for now. I will give this make it 1080. And I'm going to do high quality depth of field. And I'm going to stop the screen recording while I do this because it's just going to take away from the system resources. All right, I just watched this render. I'm going to fix a couple things. First of all, I didn't realize we were going to be this close to seeing the hand of the pocket, so we're going to fix that. All right, that's much better. We got a little breakage there. We'll fix that. Another thing I want to do, because this shot is kind of boring right now, is I'm going to put a little bit of a zoom on this shot. And maybe what I'll do, maybe I'll start it a little higher. And then over here at the end, I'll put a zoom just to give it a little bit of motion. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I like that way better. Okay, I'm going to save and render this out. So this shot's done. Now the next shot I want from a different angle. So let's get rid of this camera. We don't need that anymore. I think this shot is going to be done from here. So let's see what that looks like. All right, that's cool, but I feel like even though I like her in silhouette, I would like a little bit of light over here. So I'm going to add a new light. I'm going to add a new directional light. All right, that's kind of the idea, but it needs to be a different color. So let's do this. And let's make this, well, it's too blue. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, maybe we can play with them. Yeah, I like that a lot. No, that's it. That's great. Maybe a little more. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. All right. And I'll remove object animation. So that light is great. And what I would really like is for some background actors in the foreground just sort of walking around. So we can do that. I'm going to create a camera here because this is pretty much the shot. And I'm just going to have a couple of people going back and forth to simulate that this is, in fact, a busy street. So let's bring in some actors. I think I'll bring in probably the same actors because you can barely see them. Let's do this Kevin here. He'll face this way. Where's the camera? So you know what? Maybe I'll bring him closer to the camera. Okay. Cool. And I'm going to hit start. Good. So we got just a random guy walking in front of the camera. Love it. Okay, good. That's one. Let's add another one. Let's add a woman walking the other way. All right, let's see what that looks like. Actually, I should have watched. I'm going to watch this time as she's doing it. All right, I'm going to add one more guy here, just going the other way. So let's look at this through the camera. All right, cool. So this looks fine. This is really good. I have a busy street. Yep. Now let's set up the camera to make it look a little nicer. All right, so this time I might do depth of field again, and I'm going to still focus on Kevin over here, just because I think I want everybody in the front to be blurred. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And maybe what I'll do is put a little bit of a zoom, because I like when there's a little motion. Yeah, I like that. I love that. That's great.
Hey!
Okay, so we're gonna stick with that. I'm gonna render it out now. And now I want the shot where he sees her reflection. So when does it happen? When does he notice it? Okay, he notices it there. So we might have to cheat a little bit and make this. Yeah, we might have to light her up a little more. Oh, I like this. Hey, you made it. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put a little bit of motion here. And now, boom, once they start to kiss, I'm gonna rotate around. That's nice. I like that. Okay, let's render this out because this works pretty good. So that shot looks good, and I could probably end it there, but I want to do one more, or at least try one more, and maybe reuse some of the elements I have. And maybe what I'll do is I'll have this party girl walking a little later. Yeah, so we'll end the shot there. All right, so what I might do is I might start from here. I'll create a camera and I'll pull out like this. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Hey, you made it. There you go. They're kissing. We have her walking. Yeah, that's a nice ending shot. I might reuse our couple walking over here in the background. Let me do that. Let's go to motion direction control. Yeah. All right. And what I'll do, maybe I can go G on this guy, and I'm going to move him all the way over here. And I'll rotate him so he's walking in a straight line this way. So he's going to be walking over there. Let me just look to the camera. So at the beginning of the shot again. Hey, you made it. So he's just walking. Yeah. Cool. That's nice. That's really nice. All right. Let's render that out. So the video's done. We're going to watch it in a second. I just wanted to say thank you to Reallusion for making amazing products and for all their support. Please check them out. If you're looking to do some sort of 3D animation, the learning curve isn't too bad. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, which is how I've been learning this stuff. And it's really fast. You can get results very quickly, which I'm really enjoying. So let's watch the finished product now and be on the lookout for more animation from me. I'm working really hard on making the my sci-fi musical. It's coming out really, really great. I'm very happy with it, and I can't wait to show everybody. So thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like and a subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 100,000, and I'd appreciate your help with that. Thank you very much. Hey, you made it.